Marcia, I'm not sure I can follow that, because what you've said is everything that the majority of the 37,000 young people in the Diocese of Southwark have said to me, their teachers and their head teachers. I echo everything that has been said so far this afternoon, and as a poignant thought, I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that every single young person who was involved in knife crime in Croydon, either as a perpetrator or a victim, was not in full-time education. We took this statistic and carried out a longitudinal study over 11 years because, unfortunately, exclusions are the only thing that have not changed the way that they are measured by this government or any previous government since the turn of the century. It is one of the most consistent ways where you can measure how inclusive and caring and effective a school can be. The anecdotal view that most of us would have would be that church schools do exclude less, and the evidence supports this hypothesis. Our Southwark Diocesan Board of Education head teachers point out the greater challenges they often face in pursuing an agenda of inclusion is often leading them to have higher proportions of disadvantaged and pupils with special educational needs, or pupils who are disabled, or pupils who are enrolled in their school partway through their educational journey, as late as being enrolled in year 11. Further analysis obviously is required to validate these views and whether we do comparatively better within a context of greater challenge. And we're currently still undertaking this research. Several schools within our diocese have shown success over a long period of time in absolute terms, both with fixed and permanent rates of exclusion kept low, much lower in some cases than the national average. Consistency is very clear, and these schools also tend to be larger and with fewer changes at the top level of leadership. So what do we actually do in our schools? Well, we take as a starting point the Church of England's vision for education, which was published in 2016, and some powerful examples of the development of an inclusive ethos and culture include strong moral leadership. The head teacher is faced with difficult decisions resting on their shoulders alone, because according to the guidance, the head teacher only has the power to exclude a child in any school. And they will often hold an unofficial, no permanent exclusion policy in their hearts and minds, determined to exhaust all potential avenues, rather than say to this child that they are not valued. Indeed, a child at age 11 knows if they are going to obtain the fabled level 9 at the end of age 16, and many of them often will begin to look for other routes into a life beyond school. Our schools have stable leadership. Several teachers felt that their wisdom, including their trust in God, has developed over time, and with it their resilience to look for alternatives and to face the critics when some parties push for permanent exclusions to be used. Phrases like zero tolerance come to mind, and our head teachers believe that every child is created in the image and likeness of God, but no child is perfect. We also look at succession planning and smooth transitions, and for this we're very grateful to the Mayor's Office for the Stepping Stones project, which is provided free of charge on the Mayor of London's website, which looks at transition from year 6 to year 7 and involves year 10 pupils as well. If you haven't had a look at it, do please look it up. It is remarkably powerful. Our leaders also set themselves challenging acid tests when taking through decisions. If a child is ever subject to a permanent exclusion or a managed move from this school, we need to know, and I quote directly, that they will still want to say hello when they pass the school with no negative feelings. A lot of our head teachers and school leaders, and indeed people who work in schools, turn challenges such as this into strength. Rather than be anxious about working with the most challenging students, This message of inclusion, which is sent by opening the doors of the school and asking staff to be judged first and foremost by the successes they secure for the most vulnerable, often sits at the heart of their educational leadership. Do unto this the least of my brethren, and you do it to me, springs to mind. We're also very blessed that we have some strong chaplains in our secondary schools who have a wide-ranging and varied responsibility from school to school, and they have the scope to take action and have high presence in the school, including access to membership of the leadership team and yet being a presence for the children. But most importantly, it's probably following the example of Jesus. The approach is distinctly rooted in the New Testament and is non-punitive. With the key value of forgiveness at the heart of decision-making, several schools use restorative justice practices where all members of the community are focused on putting things right where harm has been done, rather than seek to apportion blame. Being deeply Christian in serving the common good, educating for wisdom, knowledge and skills, hope and aspiration, community and living well together, and dignity and respect are what sit at the heart of the Church of England's vision for education. Can local clergy and church leaders do something to encourage their local schools, Anglican or not, to look at this issue in more depth? Can local clergy or church leaders be part of this idea of community partnerships and trusting the young with leadership positions? Can we involve young people more, give a voice to their wants, to their desires, their fears? Can we support their spiritual nourishment through lay leadership, all without proselytising? We call it the cycle of grace. If you start in a school with a child and look at their achievement, they become a number. They become less significant. They do not receive the life in all its fullness, sustenance that they require, and they look for acceptance elsewhere. If you follow the cycle of grace and you accept the child first, provide them with the physical, moral, spiritual, and mental sustenance, and let them believe that they are significant because they are significant, then they will achieve. And not too many schools often reflect upon that. But of course, these beliefs are present in other types of schools too. Faith schools, Anglican schools, Catholic schools don't have all the answers. The lift and shift won't work because each school is its own village, each school is its own family, each school is its own community, and contexts differ wildly. Our research is still continuing. I have no further conclusions to draw yet. But the vision for education is not how church schools should educate, but how all schools could educate. We've just begun to peel the layers back, but time is short. We don't have years. We don't even have months. These young people need our help now. Thank you.